The starport of Nevera Prime was alive with the familiar hum of spacecraft engines, the chatter of alien merchants, and the occasional clatter of cargo being unloaded. For Ethan Varrick, a human single father and shuttle mechanic, it was just another ordinary day, or at least as ordinary as life could be on a bustling interstellar hub. He wiped grease from his hands, glanced at the schematics of a malfunctioning plasma conduit, and muttered under his breath. Life had been challenging since the accident that claimed his wife, leaving him to raise his daughter, Lyra, alone. Yet despite the loneliness, Ethan had found a rhythm. Repairing ships, caring for Lyra, and navigating a universe that often seemed indifferent to humans. That rhythm was shattered when a diplomatic envoy arrived from the planet Arcanis, home to the ruling alien monarchy. Their arrival was unprecedented. A royal delegation, composed of shimmering figures with crystalline exoskeletons, multi-limbed couriers and telepathic scribes. At the center of their delegation was Princess Kaelyra, the heir to the Arcanis throne. Kaelyra was unlike any being Ethan had ever seen. Her iridescent skin reflected starlight like liquid glass, her multiple eyes shimmered in impossible hues, and her voice, though silent, carried a palpable presence. She was mute, unable to speak through conventional vocal methods, a rare condition among her species. And yet, there was a dignity in her posture, a quiet intelligence that radiated in every subtle movement. The Arcanis Queen herself, Velithra, had decreed that Kaelyra be integrated into human society for diplomatic and educational purposes. Ethan, chosen by the envoy for his empathy and resourcefulness, was tasked with supervising the princess and ensuring her adaptation. Ethan blinked as Kaelyra's gaze met his. "She won't speak?" he asked quietly. A translator drone projected Velithra's voice. "Princess Kaelyra has never spoken. She communicates through gestures, thought links, and written symbols. Many have attempted to teach her speech. All have failed. You human are to succeed where others could not." Ethan swallowed hard. I'll do my best." From the beginning, the challenge was monumental. Kaelyra refused to use speech synthesis devices or vocal modulators. Her gestures were precise, her expressions subtle, but communication through sound was impossible. Ethan had to rely on patience, observation, and empathy, a skill he had honed raising Lyra alone. Days turned into weeks. Ethan implemented a routine of exercises designed to stimulate Kaelyra's vocal cords and neural pathways associated with speech. He began with gentle humming exercises, encouraging her to mimic vibrations, then advanced to phonetic articulations adapted to her alien physiology. At first, Kaelyra resisted, her eyes wide with uncertainty. "Try it," Ethan urged gently one afternoon, holding her hands in his. "Even a sound, just one sound. You can do it." Kaelyra's lips trembled, her iridescent eyes reflecting doubt. She opened her mouth and for the first time a faint, quivering noise escaped, an airy whisper almost like wind brushing over glass. Ethan grinned. "There it is. That's it. You made a sound." The breakthrough, however, did not go unnoticed. Queen Velithra observed from afar, her crystal-like form shimmering as she watched the sessions through remote surveillance. She had doubted that a human, untrained in alien linguistics, could achieve what her finest tutors could not. As weeks progressed, Kaelyra's vocal attempts became more confident. She produced vowels, then syllables, then words. Ethan incorporated storytelling into the exercises, reading tales of Terran history, myths, and even personal anecdotes about his daughter, Lyra. Kaelyra's eyes would light up at the rhythmic cadence of words, her hands tracing patterns in the air, her lips forming sounds she had never known she could create. During one particularly emotional session, Ethan told a story of a child who overcame fear to save their family. Kaelyra listened intently, and when the story reached its climax, she spoke her first full sentence. I can help." Her voice was faint, wavering but unmistakably real. Ethan's heart soared. "You said it. You actually spoke." From that moment on, Kaelyra's progress accelerated. She learned to form complex sentences, modulate tone, and express emotion through speech. Her confidence grew alongside her language skills, and her bond with Ethan deepened. She called him Dad, a title that carried more warmth than any formal designation. Yet challenges remained. Arcanis' political environment was fraught with tension. Rival factions within the kingdom resented Kaelyra's human-assisted education, seeing it as interference in royal tradition. There were whispers of plots, alliances forged in secret, and threats against both Kaelyra and Ethan. One evening, an urgent message arrived from the royal palace. A coup had begun. The rival faction intended to capture Kaelyra and use her as leverage to seize control of the throne. Ethan knew they had no time to lose. He grabbed his toolkit and motioned for Kaelyra. "We need to move now. Stick close to me." Using his mechanical expertise, Ethan navigated her through hidden maintenance tunnels, bypassing security systems, and repairing failing doors along the way. Kaelyra, once mute and hesitant, gave verbal instructions and warnings, guiding them with precise communication. Together they moved like a coordinated unit, blending human ingenuity and alien insight. They emerged in the palace's control chamber, where the rebel faction had gathered. Kaelyra's voice rang out clearly, commanding attention. "Stop! You will not harm the hive or my people." Her words carried authority, confidence, and a resonance that startled even the seasoned rebels. The rebels froze. They had never witnessed an alien princess speak so clearly, nor with such conviction. Ethan, standing beside her, felt a swell of pride. His guidance had given her the voice to assert her power. Queen Velithra arrived moments later, her presence imposing yet calm. She surveyed the scene, her multifaceted eyes reflecting awe. "Remarkable," she murmured. "Human, you have done what I deemed impossible. The princess speaks. She commands. She leads. And she owes it all to you." Ethan shook his head modestly. "I just helped her find her voice." Velithra's gaze softened. "No, Ethan. You gave her more than a voice. You gave her agency, confidence, and courage. That changes everything." In the days that followed, Kaelyra fully embraced her role as heir and future queen. She addressed her people with clarity, reason, and compassion. The rival factions were subdued, not through force, but through her newfound eloquence and the undeniable authority of her voice. Ethan continued to guide and support her, but the balance of power had shifted. Kaelyra no longer needed him as a teacher. She was his equal, a leader in her own right. Yet their bond remained unbroken, forged through patience, trust, and shared trials. One afternoon, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the capital, Kaelyra spoke softly. "Dad, I never imagined I could speak like this. But you believed in me when no one else did." Ethan smiled, his eyes glinting with pride. "You had it in you all along. I just helped you find it." The queen watched from her chamber, smiling behind her crystalline veil. She had seen countless tutors, advisors, and scholars attempt to teach Kaelyra speech, and all had failed. Yet a human, a simple mechanic and father, had succeeded. That success was not just in technique but in empathy, patience, and genuine care. A lesson the queen would not soon forget. Kaelyra's voice became a symbol across Arcanis and neighboring systems. It represented hope, unity, and the extraordinary potential that could emerge when someone believed in another's hidden strengths. And through it all, Ethan stood beside her. Not as a ruler, not as a teacher, but as a father proud beyond measure. Years later, Kaelyra ruled with wisdom and grace, her voice shaping policies, resolving conflicts, and inspiring generations. Ethan, now an honored advisor and cherished family member, often reflected on that first hesitant sound she had made. A sound that changed everything, not just for her but for the entire kingdom. And in the vast, ever-expanding universe, the tale of a human single dad who helped a mute alien princess speak became a legend. A story of patience, love, and the transformative power of believing in someone when no one else would. In the end, it wasn't technology, magic, or royal decree that changed Kaelyra. It was human empathy, persistence, and a father's unwavering belief that even the quietest voice could one day echo across the stars.